Hey DeFi Dorks, and welcome to this week's Jade Protocol Sunday Saga with me, Chris Pantelli, for week ending the 30th of January. So before we get into this, let's go to the disclaimer.
Hi. Any information or opinions expressed on the DeFi Dogs YouTube channel are not to be considered or constituted as financial or investment advice. It is purely informational. Do your own research and enjoy the crypto journey.
Okay, a quick intro before we dive into this then. This week will be short and sweet. I'm expecting big price movements in a couple of days after the release of the first investment fund report due on the 1st of February. So that is quite exciting. Although there has been a fair bit happening this week, I'm not going to dive too much into it because I think it's more important to analyze what happens after we see that investment fund report from the Jade team. Just a quick background on what's been happening for the DeFi Dogs YouTube channel. So I made a new disclaimer video, which should be, just pop an O on the end of that, which I'll be using in all the videos moving forward. And my business partner has invested into 4 nodes. So hopefully he'll be making a video soon as well, so we can dive into that. And I aped into another project. I knew I said I wouldn't, but I have. This is the last one, I swear, for now anyway, until I realize some profits from my other investments, and that is UNIV Money, Universe Money. Very, very interesting project. And I managed to get in super early. There was no real hype about this, no whitelist. They kind of just went live with a fully functioning DApp, and it's really something quite sweet. I managed to get in. Minimum node size it was and is still currently 42,000 UNIV tokens. So at the time that I got in, it cost me about $12. And what's really interesting about this platform is your node is a tradable NFT straight off the bat. They do 4% compound, and that's bonus every time you compound. You can compound every 4 hours straight into your node. It's built on the Avalanche network, so the fees are super cheap. If you compound 4 times a day, it's roughly 30 cents a compound, so about just over $1 a day. If you manage to do, you can compound every 4 hours. So if you can stay awake or you don't go to sleep very often, then you can compound up to 6 times a day. And then you get those bonuses, and your NFT planet or your node changes through the different node tiers, and that is tradable. So my game plan for this particular project is to compound every day, 4 times a day for a full year. And then I'll see what's happening with the price and what's happening with the value of that as an NFT. Once you get it to the top tier, which is a sun, then I think the NFTs themselves will actually be quite valuable. But like I said, really early days for this. But what's interesting is this team managed to put together quite an interesting and functional UI with everything running really smoothly without any real hype, and it's pretty much taken off quite quickly. So that's it for what's happening with the DeFi Dorks channel. Let me know if you want me to make any videos about UNIV or Vapor Nodes as well. I'm still in that, really enjoying that, compounding just once a day on that project, and then obviously Jade Protocol as well. So with Jade, there has been quite a lot happening this week with John Ray and Project X, but like I've said before, I'm just purely a Jade holder, and although Project X is really interesting to me and they've got some really interesting things happening over there, I'm not going to discuss that here because the impact that we will see from that particular project will be reflected in the Jade price itself. So this has become much more of a long-term project. Remember, it's no longer a rebase token. This is going to be a much more longer term play. I would be looking to take out if we were approaching the $1,000 floor price. Probably not all of my position, but I would certainly look to be liquidating about half of it, possibly. But we do seem a well way from that. Let's look at last week's dashboard and then we'll compare it to this week. So last week we had a price of $22.64, fair market value of 171. And this week we're at 21.51, fair market value 177. We're at a floor price of $20.93, and it's exactly the same this week. Exactly the same last week. So no change there. Circulating supply was 1,217,000. So circulating supply has gone down slightly, which is good because that's good for the price. Back in treasury is at 24 million and was at 25 million. So back in treasury has increased slightly. which is probably why we've seen this slight increase in price. So we were at 22.64. We're now at, oh no, price has gone down slightly. That is because they're moving part of the investment treasury as well. And percentage stake percentage of Jade staked is 68.37, which is near enough the same as it was last week. And price has been very, very interesting this week. If I open it up on Dex Screener, over the past week or so, there has been monumental movements in the DAO space with Time Wonderland and the collapse in price there, the exposure of Sifu as a crook, for want of a better word, and that has significantly impacted price. But with the Jade BuyBot automatically buying tokens, you can see it has pretty much been level throughout all of this time period, which means that BuyBot is working. And that, I think, is quite a significant thing that the team has managed to deliver, because one of the reasons that the Time Wonderland collapse happened is because although they had a buyback procedure in place, albeit the backing price possibly wasn't as accurate as the white paper would have had you believed, which was one of the things exposed by Einstein in one of the Medium articles. The actual procedures that they had in order to activate that buyback procedure to defend the price was a manual procedure between the Danny and Sifu on a multi-sig, and that was something that needed to happen manually. A lot of the positions got liquidated as price fell, which created a cascading falling in the price. And Danny openly admitted that he was sleeping during this period, which meant that in order to activate that buyback mechanism, that would have to have happened manually at the time that those liquidations began to happen. And as they weren't able to do that, that's why we saw a total collapse in the price of Time Wonderland. Whereas the Jade team had a algorithmic automatic buyback function, and that BuyBot automatically buys and burns Jade as the real-time price starts to approach the floor price, and that has worked wonderfully. So that is good to see. I'm bullish on that. It would be nice to see some upward price movement, but that is something we are going to have to wait and see over the weeks and months, as opposed to something which I think will happen all at once. Another interesting thing released from the team this week was a direct link to a Zapper account, which highlights the investment treasury, which is a really open thing that the team has delivered. It means we're able to directly see where the investment treasury is. And that's good. That's really good to see. So you can dive into this link here and you can check out where the investment treasury is currently being deployed. So we have stable coins and spread across a number of protocols as well. And that's really interesting. I'm glad to see that. Not everything has been included on that. You'll see a discrepancy in this total net worth here and the total size of the investment treasury here, but that's simply because not everything has been added. As John Ray tweeted out, there's an additional 2 million in bonding treasuries, and the Zapper bundle is not showing a Gelato Uniswap values of around 9.2 million. And then they're also moving 10 million into Platypus once Wallet Connect integration is fixed. So that was quite a bullish bit of information released from the team. And then we also had a Jade AMA with the co-founder, Kevin Randleman, and that was delivered to us on Discord. They discussed the buyback, and one thing that I thought was interesting from that AMA, someone made the point: would it be possible to lease that particular piece of code, that mechanism, to other platforms? And that's something that the team might look into. I thought that was really interesting. And I've already discussed here what happened with Time Wonderland, and that particular recommendation during the AMA. And the other thing that was interesting from the AMA, but that I thought would be worth mentioning here, was the fact that Jade has made its first seed investment, and the team is currently discussing how they are going to airdrop some of the tokens from that seed investment to us Jade holders. So I think there is lots to come from this particular project. I would not write it off yet. For me, it is waiting, and that can be so frustrating, especially when you can see much faster and possibly higher returns in other projects, whereas Jade seems to be in it for the long term. But we're going to get this Feb 1st investment report coming in a matter of a couple of days, and then after that we're going to have an AMA with Kevin Randleman as well to discuss that particular investment report. I'm bullish for the price. After we've had that investment report, I'm going to see where it goes from there. Einstein was taken quite badly with COVID. That's the reason he's been almost non-existent over the past few weeks, and also the team is hard at work. Now, it's easy enough to say that the team is not being as open with the J community as they could be, but they are starting to deliver what they say they are. They've already implemented the algorithmic buyback to defend the price. That's worked. They've deployed the investment treasury, and that is now live for us to see in the Zappa wallet. And also the investment fund is bang on track to be released on February the 1st and every month preceding. So far for me, still relatively bullish. Let's see what happens. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video where we can dive deep into the first Jade Protocol investment report. Okay, thanks for listening, guys, and see you in next week's video.